Okay, guys, we got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chapter 8, The Potions Master. Man, this is where some stuff starts to get a little bit iffy, so we're about to have a good one with this one. Jump right into it. This is Harry's first week in school. He's only been there for a short amount of time, and we start the chapter off with whispers. There are whispers, and there's a bunch of commotion going on behind Harry's back. Harry can hear a little bit of it. He understands, oh man, these people are talking about me. He's kind of, against it. He doesn't really want people to be talking about him and stuff like that because it's confusing him. He's already in a place that he doesn't know, and he's missing or being late for classes because he's dealing with all of this, and the whole place is already a confusing mess as is. So on his first day, he ends up running into Filch and Mrs. Norris. Very unfortunate situation for Harry, him and Ron. Filch just accuses Harry and Ron of trying to sneak into the third floor corridor, which was in the previous chapter stated that it was off limits. And Filch is a good character. I don't care what anybody says. I love Filch. Especially when you understand his background, you understand where he's coming from. He's a squib and he can't do magic, so he's a little bit reluctant against all these kids who have this wonderful opportunity that he never got to have. He's very extreme though. He's a very extreme character. But yeah, he and Peeves, they both cause a lot of problems for these new students, and it's just what can you say about it? That's fun writing though. Especially from a new student standpoint. Every time that I've been a new student or it's a first year or going back to school and stuff like that, things are always a little bit more confusing. Things are always a little bit more unsure, and you haven't really settled into the school year yet. So with this writing, it really brought me back to that. I don't remember how I felt about it when I was a kid. I probably just resonated with it because it made sense at the time. But as an adult now, I really see, man, that brings me into it. That writing sucks me into it and actually makes me feel like I'm there and understand what's happening. But yeah, they run into Filch, and surprisingly, Quirrell saves the day. As odd as he is, Quirrell ends up saving the day for Harry and Ron, gets him out of that predicament, and that's just even more amazing writing because we're putting Quirrell in the spot of the good guy. We're making Quirrell, just that little bit, making Quirrell seem like, oh, there's no way he's the villain of the entire story. So I love that. JK, man, you the way you did that plot twist at the end of this whole thing is amazing. So yeah, Quirrell comes and they end up going to their first classes, and none of the teachers are really notable per se. I do like the fact that the history of magic teacher, his name was Professor Benz or something like that, died one day and just woke up, left his body behind, and then went on to teach the class. And they were just like, well, I guess he's still here. We don't really need to fire him or anything. So that was fun. That was very fun writing right there. JK has some themes that I noticed in this chapter, especially when they went to McGonagall's class and she transformed the desk into a pig. That's one of the themes, it seems, at least in this book, because that getting turned into a pig gets mentioned a lot, at least as far as these first 8 chapters are concerned. I've heard it a few times now, especially with Dudley. Hagrid tried to turn him into a pig. This desk randomly gets turned into a pig. And I believe there might have been one more instance where something was mentioned about, or somebody was scared of being turned into a pig or something. I forget. Either way, that's one of the themes. And another theme that she has is ickle, which I'm not too fond of, especially so much already. Within these first 8 chapters, she's already said ickle Duddykins. Within these first 8 chapters, she's already said ickle Ronnykins. Within this first 8 chapters, she's already said ickle Firsties. and that was when the poltergeist Peeves was talking to the first years as they were coming through. Um, and then for some reason, it seems like another one of her little trends that she's doing is making it seem as if cats are bad. And this is more so the start of it. But if you think about it, she shows up in the first chapter as a cat, and then she turns into herself. Well, that's kind of showing, oh, a cat is deceptive. At least that's what my brain is going. Um, but other than that, we get Mrs. Norris, who everybody wanted to kick. That was a tattletale. She was annoying. She was a spy. Um, Very interesting, to have the cat theme of these cats being kind of mischievous and whatever. As well, we have Hermione's cat who was chasing Scabbers around and trying to eat Scabbers, and even being a spy for the prisoner of Azkaban, the escaped prisoner of Azkaban. What? It seems like she doesn't like cats. At least that's what I'm getting from it. Um, but anyway, that was a little tangent on the themes that I've kind of seen her kind of pulling off right now. Um, but Quirrell, he's got this strange garlic smell about him when they go to his class, and there's nothing really impressive that he does. Everybody was looking forward to his class, and then they were like, well, this guy's really a bust. It's not really anything. So, like I said, McGonagall's class was really the only other interesting class other than the one that this chapter is named after. Um, and, she didn't really do anything special except for uh, put her foot down again and let people know she is not to be messed with. Um, Very stern class, very, very strict class, but it was good. Uh, Hermione showed out as always. So we get some good development on her happening in this chapter because she's already being the best at the spells and the magic transfiguration. Even though she said she was looking most forward to this class, um, she's already the best performer on like the first day. So that's really interesting, especially since she's coming from a Muggle family. And then later on in Snape's class, we see that Hermione has the answers to the questions that he has. So he's asking Harry questions, and Hermione's like, "Oh, me, I got it, I know this answer, I know this answer." She stands up, all this stuff, and she's smart. It's so obvious, and it's developing her really well. Um, I would say it's overdoing it, but I don't think it is, because if that's her character, and I have met people who are just naturally smart like that, um, then yeah, it's very believable though. It's very believable. We go to the dining hall, and everybody's getting mail, and Harry finally gets his first piece of mail towards the end of the week, um, and that's from Hagrid, and that just felt good. That felt really good to my heart because he hadn't received any mail all week, and now for him to get some mail from Hagrid is like, man, Hagrid is a good guy. He's just a big old comfy teddy bear good guy, you know. And I want to hear all about your first week, Harry. And I was like, I want to tell you all about my first week. That's how I felt. Um, so yeah, I love Hagrid for that. I love him for that. But after that, we end up going to the potions master, Snape. We have a class with him, double potions with the Slytherins. Very unfortunate. Sorry, but somebody's got to sit with those Slytherins. um, so yeah, they have this potions class, and Snape is an absolute man. He the way that he is written is delicious. It's delicious. So we've seen the Dursleys, right? And they treat Harry very poorly. Very, very poorly. And even though they treat him poorly, it's nothing like how Snape treats him. And other than that, we see Malfoy. And Malfoy doesn't treat him like Snape treats him either. Malfoy's more so on the Dursleys' side of bad treatment when it comes to Harry. It's more so based on just pompousness and privilege. And Petunia is honestly the closest to Snape when it comes to the way that Harry is treated, because Snape treats Harry with a sense of loathing, and it's so well in the writing that he's not just picking on Harry. He's not just being mean to Harry. He's more so just being extremely spiteful. He's acting as if everything about this person he despises, which Harry picked up immediately. Um, and so, Petunia and Snape kind of have that in common, whereas the Dudleys and Malfoy, they just kind of have, bully mentalities. And Snape has like revenge, and Petunia, she feels like she has revenge too in her heart when it comes to the way she treats Harry. Anyway, long time spent on that, and the potions class was absolutely terrible for them. Snape did accuse Harry of allowing Neville to mess up his potion on purpose. Said he was trying to look better in front of the class if Neville screwed up. I'm over here like, Snape, Neville is covered in sores and boils and all this. This child is in peril right now. He's in peril. He's in danger. That acid stuff melted through the ground, through other kids' shoes. It fell down floors and floors, and it hit him on the face. At least the gas did. And you're over here worried about Harry trying to look good in front of the class, think he's a show off. The adults in these books they're just silly. They're silly adults. They're written to be extreme. But yeah, that was just funny and interesting. After that, we end up going to Hagrid's, and Hagrid is warm and welcoming. It's good to have that right after the potions class, and just hearing him talk and be friendly and jovial and all that stuff. That was wonderful. But it kind of ends on a bad or a sour note, because Harry is, he's chopping it up with Hagrid. Ron's chopping it up. Harry kind of, gets a little bit bored, and he grabs a newspaper that he finds on the ground, or a clipping, and he finds out that the bank, that was broken into, Gringotts, Ron had told him, he mentioned that before, and he starts connecting dots. He starts connecting these dots, and he's like, man, hold on, is that what really was that our vault that got broken into that day? No, it couldn't be. It might be. So he's putting two and two together, and then he kind of asks Hagrid about it, and Hagrid's just like, "Oh yeah, nah, it wasn't that. No, don't worry about that." And Harry's like, what? This guy's not, he's not holding his eye contact when he tells me not to worry about it. And then he brings up Snape as well, and he's like, yeah, but okay, so what about Snape? Snape, he absolutely hates me for no reason. I haven't done anything to this guy. And Hagrid's again like, oh no, Snape, don't worry about it. Snape hates everybody. And again, he's not showing any eye contact, or he's not giving direct eye contact. And Harry's just like, yeah, this has been an interesting week, but somehow above all this magic, these two things, this bank getting broken into, and as well as Snape kind of hating me, that seems a little bit more interesting than this magic right now. And so the story is finally going underway, and we're finally getting into the meat and potatoes of what's actually going down throughout this entire book, or throughout the rest of this book. So this is the first incident, more so the inciting incident, to where things are kind of happening. and things are really getting serious from this point on. So, really enjoyed this chapter. It left you curious. It left you very curious, and you really wanted to know, oh man, what is happening next? Why does Snape dislike this kid? Um, and what about that bank that got robbed, or that was supposedly was gonna at least got broken into? And then just the knowledge of, oh, and there was this dark wizard that Harry defeated as a baby who just kind of disappeared, and it's just, oh, it's so tasty. You're just already getting all these things that you want to have answered right now, but you gotta keep reading in order to get the rest. So we'll continue next time on chapter 9, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.